By show of hands, how many of you have ever procrastinated on an assignment or a task you knew needed to get done? As a college student myself, procrastination is something that I always resort to when I feel any amount of stress or anxiety from my workload. When I finally see everything that I need to get done on my to-do list or in my planner, I just get very overwhelmed and I put it off and I tell myself I'll get back to it and I don't. And that's an endless cycle that I think a lot of us can agree that we struggle with. So I'm going to help you try and avoid doing that. So today I'm going to talk to you about procrastination. I'm going to give you more information on how many college students procrastinate, how to avoid procrastinating, and how to utilize your time in an effective way so you can meet your deadlines. Going into college, it's expected to be stressed, sleep deprived, and anxious from your workload. And while it's understood why we feel this way, many of us cope with these issues by ignoring the source of them, which is our workload. So a study shown by P. Steele says that approximately 80 to 95% of college students engage in procrastination to some degree. 70% of them are procrastinators, and 50% say that it's down to a consistent and problematic manner, which I think a majority of us can probably admit that we're in that 50%, because I know I can. So whether it's effective or not, procrastination is something that is ultimately a buildup of stress from our workload. And you can be procrastinating and not even realize it. Personally, I find myself doing pointless chores around the house and organizing things in my room, cleaning things in my room that I never would have taken a second glance at unless I was trying to avoid doing my schoolwork. So while I am being productive, I'm still not giving my attention to what I need to be giving it to, which is my schoolwork. So when it comes to balancing your schoolwork with your outside life, it can be a bit of a struggle, but it's not impossible. And an effective way to do this is to be organized. So, written by Jay Combs, he said, poor organization can lead to procrastination. Organized people successfully overcoming it by prioritizing to-do lists and creating effective schedules. These tools help you to organize your tasks by priority and deadline. So, when I find myself stressing out about what needs to get done, I use a daily planner. And I've bought many of them and didn't use them, and that's when I was really struggling with my schoolwork and meeting my deadlines. And finally, when I started using it, I realized how effective they really are. When you're able to see everything that you need to get done day to day, it makes it much easier to want to check them off your to-do list because you're not waiting until the last minute. So all throughout the week, you're able to get assignments done one at a time instead of having to cram them all into one night. So when we find ourselves without enough time before a deadline, it's extremely important that we utilize that time in an effective way so that we can successfully get them all done. A way of doing this is getting rid of distractions, and I think a universal distraction that we can all agree on is our cell phones. So, written in the New York Times, there is a 2017 study in the Journal of Association of Consumer Research that found that the mere presence of your phone, even if it's powered off and even if you're not actively using it and you're successfully ignoring it, it still reduces available cognitive capacity. So, and they call that brain drain. So even though you're not using it, you're still thinking about what's going on social media, if anyone's trying to contact you, and all the notifications that you have. So by removing your phone from your workplace, it's still effective on its own, but another way to use your time is actually taking naps. So naps are surprisingly very important in improving productivity, and you probably didn't think of that, but it is. So there is research at Cave Western Reserve University and Boston's Brigham and Women's Hospital found that 10 to 20 minute naps can help improve productivity and focus while studying. And I think that's great news for everyone because I love naps, and I'm sure you do too. And the Wall Street Journal also reported that studies show naps around 60 to 90 minutes can also be helpful for students trying to memorize information like facts, names, and dates. So naps are very important actually in helping you be productive. But when you're in a time crunch like this, it's best to take short naps and not a long one. So now that you know how to avoid procrastination and what to do when it seems like you're out of time, I hope you use all of this information to your advantage, and I hope I inspired some of you to get more organized so that you can meet those deadlines and avoid procrastination ultimately as a whole.